Listen to the Vibes, hosted by Coyote Knight. Listen in for some positivity and good times. The views and opinions of our guests may not necessarily reflect those of the host or the Vibes Broadcast Network. Listener discretion is advised.
And we have a very, very special guest tonight. I actually met this gentleman when I was working at a Comic-Con doing security. And you'd think that we would sit and talk about, everything that he does as far as like television and movies, but we sat and talked about our arthritis problems. So we'd just like to welcome Adrian Paul.
Hi guys, how are you doing? Is it hot where you are? It looks hot.
Oh, it's extremely hot.
Yeah, very hot. Humid.
So
I think the planet's getting hotter. That's
we have the chat room open, so everybody, you're welcome to, send us a message, and we'll ask a question of Mr. Paul here. And like to get things started. We just want to know about you.
About me? Oh my gosh! It's funny. I've been doing a massive clean out of all my photos and memorabilia and papers and all that stuff, and you suddenly remember so many things you didn't really want to remember, I think. But you forget how many people you meet in your life and how many things you do. And so there's a memory there, like a photograph or a video recording or something of that nature. So, obviously I've been an actor for 35 years now, something of that nature. 35 years. And I traveled kind of from England to America and became fixated with acting at not a young age, but I did when I was younger. But and I started, parents tell you got to go to school, you got to make sure you get a job, make sure you get the right qualifications, make sure. So I did. I listened to what they said. I got my qualifications. I worked in a bank. I worked in custom pricing in a pharmaceutical company. I did a bunch of jobs, and then it just so happened. I think everything happens to you when your mindset is a certain way that you will draw the thing that you're supposed to be doing. It will come to you, and you know that that's what you're supposed to do. So I got into modeling and dance and then acting and stuff, and that's really where I knew that's what I should be doing. It was a creative thing that I decided as a kid, but the mindset then is you got to make sure you get your qualifications. You got to make sure you get to a good job, and if it's out of the norm, people go, "Oh, you're not. There's something odd about you." And so I never really I never fit a mold. I think my mother taught me that, never to sort of be part of the pack. And so I wasn't, and I think both of my brothers. One lives in Thailand, one lives in England, and I live here. So I think we're all kind of we've been blessed with an independence that was given to us by our mother, but we do it in a slightly different way. And you get taught by people along the way. You get taught if you got your ears open, because a lot of time you don't listen to what the things are that are coming to you, but you get great lessons along the way. And sometimes I look back at things and I think, I wish I'd listened to that. I wish I'd known that at that point. Because I find we're always so worried about what's happening, what's going to happen, what might happen, that we're not really present, and we're not really listening to things that are happening to us right then and there. Mm-hmm. We say, I want to get a new job. Well, all of a sudden, the job for a plumber comes up. Well, I don't want to be a plumber, But that plumbing job might take you to meet somebody else that got you something else, and that all of a sudden gets you now your business that you were looking for because you made that introduction. A lot of times I think we're given things that we don't listen to, or we don't really expect, because we take it at face value and we ignore it. So we move on to the next one, and then another thing will come and go, oh, I don't want to do that either. And I think at some point you've got to listen to what is really in your gut and go forward with it, which is what I did with acting. And I've had a career now for 35 years, so something went right somewhere.
So how did you get into doing Highlander?
I'd done 2 series prior to that. I'd done the Colbys. I'd done 22 episodes on a series called the Colbys, which is back in 1985, 86, something like that. 86, something of that nature. 86. Then I did a series called War of the Worlds, which was I was a replacement for the second season. I did another, I don't know how many episodes of that one, 22 on that one. And so I'd done a fair amount. I'd done my first film. I'd done a stage play Broadway. So I was, when you're young, nothing can stop you. It's great. There's nothing that's going to stop you. You can go anywhere. I was listening to somebody the other day. Oh yeah, he went to Paris and then he went to Tokyo and then he went to China. And then, like, oh my God, and he's 19. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense because you don't have any cares. So I think, I didn't have any cares at the time, but I was working. And then when I came into the audition, the first audition they ever had for, I was the first person they ever saw for the role. And I sat in in a hotel room in Beverly Hills, and told them they shouldn't look any further because I was the guy they should hire, which obviously they thought was rather impertinent of me. But I kind of felt in my heart I was supposed to do this thing. So that's how it started. And over the next 3 to 4 months, it was a series of screen tests, auditions, waiting and then getting told you're on a plane tomorrow. And by the way, you're working the day after that. So it was plenty of time not to prepare, yeah.
Right.
So that's kind of how the process, happened.
So did you enjoy doing Broadway more, or TVs, or movies?
Broadway usually, or stage plays give you a great sense of immediate response. We were doing and it was really interesting because we were doing a comedy. It was kind of drama comedy, and there were certain jokes and certain things that you'd always get a reaction from. There's always a reaction from it. And on a Tuesday night, it was always a Tuesday night. I don't know what it was with audiences on a Tuesday night. We wouldn't get the laughs. We wouldn't get any response. We'd get nothing. We'd try harder, which is the wrong thing to do in comedy because you don't want to try harder. You just want it to be there. And yet we got the standing ovations on the Tuesdays. And so it just made no sense at all as to why that happened. But there was a gratification doing, stage plays that you don't get when you're doing TV, and you get a great sense of being able to follow through with a script and learn how a character is from one moment to the next. Whereas in TV and film, those moments are broken up because you're shooting scene number 10 first, then number 28, then number 2. So all those things you have to create beforehand and make sure that the process has been carefully planned beforehand before you actually go on set, so you know where you're coming from and where you're going to.
Right. We watched you on Arrow this last season, and you got to play a bad guy. So what do you prefer, being the good guy or the bad guy, or do you have a preference?
I don't care. It's a job. It's a job I love. So as long as the role's good, that's fine. To be honest with you, playing a bad guy is a little bit more leeway, but I approach every character the same. I don't think any character sees himself as bad. Hitler didn't see himself as bad.
True.
Stalin didn't see himself as bad. And yet, they eradicated, many people. And I think that's the same with any character. You don't see yourself as bad. You just see yourself as practical or needing to do something, and it's just the action that makes you a bad person. So,
Right.
He needed to get something done for whatever reason was in his mind, and so he got it done. And there was the interesting thing was I found there was a lot of respect in what Dante did. It was a lot of he lived up to his word. He didn't lie to anybody, and yet when he did something, it needed to be done. And if somebody ticked him off, they'd be dead. Okay, that's not necessarily the way you do it as a good guy, but the morals are there the same. So his morals are just slightly put in a slightly different place.
A little askewed.
The scheme of life is slightly different in his world.
So let's go back a little bit. I want to talk about how you got into martial arts and being a sword master.
I don't classify myself as a sword master. I classify because I believe I've been fortunate enough to get enough knowledge to be able to share that knowledge with other people. I've done a lot of it, yes. My whole martial arts background came from a lot of kung fu. And in kung fu, you don't wear belts per se. You just progress and you learn as much as you can, and you gain as much knowledge as you can, and you use what you can. And you're not tested just because you have a belt. And I think the belt system was originally formulated by the Japanese, by a master who went into a dojo, and he was traveling from one to the next, and he was teaching different types of forms. And then when he was going to come back, he was like, well, I don't know which students have learned which particular form, so I'll give them a sash so that I know I've taught them form number 1 or form number 2, and that way I can immediately identify the students in my class. Well, that then became the belt system, which now has been given out. But to perform something back then took a lot more time. It wasn't like, I got my brown belt this week, and next week, in another month and a half, I'm going to do my black belt. I'm sorry, I just don't agree with that, because I think, it's a results-oriented type of system, and I think you need to get as much knowledge as you can, and it doesn't matter whether you've got a belt or not. I think the sense of achievement is fantastic, but I just don't think at the end of the day it matters if you've got a green belt, a white belt, red belt, or a yellow belt, because it's what you learn and what you take from those lessons that will depend on how good you are.
Right. So, what piqued your interest to get involved in the first place?
Well, I was always very physical. I was always very in everything I did. I was on every sports team, rugby team, soccer team. I was always getting into fights. So I wanted something that would control me a little bit more and give me certain discipline. Right. And I found that the discipline was definitely something that I could improve on. Concentration. There'd be a lot of different things, and so I started studying it just before I did, about a year or two before I did Highlander, and then I really got into it because of the show. Because I believe that if you're going to portray a character, you really need to know what that character does and how they move, etc. So I picked up so many different things from different people that came from different walks, whether they were karate, jiu-jitsu, kung fu. I like to pick up different things, although kung fu became the thing I understood the most, which is one of the things people ask me a lot, is what martial art do you think I should take? And I'm like, take the one that you can understand the best, the one that the teacher has the best things that you relate to, because that way you're going to really learn from it. You don't learn otherwise. It doesn't work that way. You got to learn how you learn. My martial art teacher actually said to me, he said, a martial artist is like a painter. He doesn't use just one color. You take the color you need to create the painting you want. So the painting who you are as a martial artist is the painting you want to create, and you take different things, and that's the way you express it.
I played soccer. I love soccer. Played it for many, many years. I was just curious what position you played, because I believe you went in like a minor league, or you were pretty good at that.
I was okay. I was all right. I played midfield and up front. I was usually, which is kind of where my son plays now too. He's playing a lot. He's passionate with it, which is interesting. I mean, the difference between soccer in the US and soccer in places like England and in the other countries is the daily amount of ball practice that you get. And I'm talking to the coach here, because in the US, you're not going out to kick the ball around, kick the soccer ball with all your buddies, right? You don't go out, hey mom, can I go kick the ball up? No, you want to go throw the ball, you want to go pitch, you want to do the basketball. So many other sports. Whereas in England and other places, that's what you do day in, day out. And therefore you develop your ball control skills and all those types of things. So here, they start classes slightly differently than they would do in England or in France or in Italy, because the kids have not had the ball time that they need. My son, I have him with the ball all day long. He's got a ball at some point during the day he's doing some sort of trick with it or trying to do something with it, because that gives him confidence and the ability to do it.
Yeah. So, what's your favorite team?
My team is Charlton Athletic. That's who my team. Then they've just come up into the Premier League. They're not in the Championship. No, Championship. It's the second one down. They're actually doing pretty good at the moment. So they're a London side that have been up and down the tables over the years. But I always grew up with them through my dad. So that's kind of how I supported them. My brothers are North London boys, and Arsenal supporter.
Okay, yeah, that would be the Texans and the Cowboys.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Like, why on earth you would even think of doing that?
Hey, go Cowboys!
I'm all Texans. So, wow.
Yeah, you seen how that went the other night, huh, Rodney?
Yeah, we won't talk about that. So.
Oh my goodness. So,
I guess
go ahead.
They won, right?
My Cowboys won.
Yeah. So.
That's funny how that gets brought up, that it's only a preseason game when the Cowboys win, but the other way around. Oh, it's like the Super Bowl.
Also, I've taken. Not a lot of people knew this though, but I have since I was 7. I've been acting, like theater acting, school plays and stuff, and then of course I'm college days and stuff at theater in there. So I get what you just said when you're performing on stage, as opposed to filming it. Even if it is, in front of a live audience, you're still having to take some time to do that. But right there on the stage, you get that immediate reaction. And I have gone through that one particular thing too, where it's supposed to be funny, and nobody's laughing, nobody's reacting, and at the end, everybody just gets this big standing ovation. It was
It's the weirdest thing when you get that. It's it's not something you're expecting. I guess that's why we have so many different TV shows. Is everybody's going to react to something differently, and like something differently. It's just that's the way it is.
I can't get anybody to laugh at my dad jokes. So, something I really wanted to talk to you about was your charity. Can you kind of explain that and what you do, and also when the show's over, I'd like you to send me the link to your charity, because I'd like to post that on our social media.
Sure, absolutely. The Peace Fund, Peace stands for Protect, Educate, Aid Children Every Day, was formed in 1997. It originally went under the auspices of Athletes and Entertainers for Kids, which was an organization spearheaded by Shaquille O'Neal and several other athletes. And we took over their School Makes a Difference program, which had a bunch of different programs that we would take into a school and rotate kids through those different programs, whether it came from peer pressure or whether it was interactive storytelling, arts and crafts, whatever that was, which gave them was interesting to do, because you were able to adjust each of the different classrooms based on what the school required, whether they required more things about attendance or whether they required more things about test results. So we would try and gear the workshops that they went through towards those things that were important in those situations. And we had some very good success. We were in Denver, we were in Los Angeles, in New York. So we started with that, and then just kind of became a lot for a small team to handle, because as things get bigger, the only way you can get bigger is bringing more people. And at the time, we weren't ready for that. So we stopped for about a year. And then the tsunami happened, and the Peace Fund kind of then took over funding some of the orphans who had lost their kids, who had lost their parents, who were only kids, who had lost their school books, had no home, etc. So we raised money to support these kids. And then I realized it was kind of one of the things that was relatively easy to do for us, to raise funds for other charities who were already on the ground. So we partnered with many different charities over the years, from Cambodia to Thailand to Hungary, United States, El Salvador, the Dominican Republic. I mean, so many different places where we went in and partnered with different organizations and tried to bring them either logistic or financial aid. And we did that very successfully for a number of years. And then we started PCM Radio in 2012, which I realized one of the things that happens with charities, and I think Facebook was a very good example of this, was the fact that they work autonomously. They don't work in tandem with everybody else. So whatever they're doing, nobody else, another organization somewhere across the country or somewhere else, even across the state, could be doing exactly the same thing, but doing it a slightly different way and having a different result. So I thought, well, why not connect this information for people, and so other charities can see things that other people might be doing, or people in certain places who might never have heard of certain charities in their own neighborhood would suddenly find out about it. So we started PCM Radio in 2012. We started as an hour format, which went by so fast. It was, and the things I learned doing PCM Radio has been quite interesting, because we deal with every single topic you think of. We've had different celebrities on there. We've had, different topics: child abuse, child homelessness, autism, everything. We just did a show now about disabilities for kids and cancer for kids. So there's a lot of organisations that handle those things. So that's where our focus kind of went. And at that point, I kind of realised, the benefit that we could do having a radio show like that, because then we started having many organisations that we were connected with. We started being able to fund things through connections. In other words, somebody would come in and say, I need this. And I said, well, this company knows this, and this company does this. Maybe we can fund that this way. And then, so you've got all your materials, and then it just needs a small donation to finalise your initiative. So we're still doing that with PCM Radio. We're still in the connection stage. But over the past years, we've really worked into our Kids Read to Lead program. And that, to me, has become kind of important for the Peace Fund, because even though you educate, aid, and you protect in our mandate, you can't do it without knowledge. And whether it's knowledge, at school, whether it's knowledge at home, whether it's knowledge that you're picking up from other people, you need the knowledge to accomplish all the tasks, whether you're going to be a doctor, whether you're going to be a tactician, a football player, whatever. You need knowledge. You need to be able to read. And reading is one of the... It's sad to say that reading happens to be how governments figure out their prison systems. If they realise by grade 3, the grade 3 reading level is down in a state or a county, they know that they have to provide X amount number of prison cells, because those kids will drop out of school and turn to something that is illegal. Therefore, they're basing their prison system, building system, based on the third grade reading level. So that was kind of a shock to hear that. So our goal, as well as the goal of Reading Across America, has been to, bring that program to kids. So we have a program where we take celebrities into schools, and we take books that the kids may know or may not know, but then we make the celebrities read them, and the kids act out the stories in the actual books, which suddenly makes those shy kids want to play the Captain Hook part, or the princess part, or the Rin Tin Tin, or whatever it is, or the favourite character, and they go home and they're like, Mom, I played this character, and suddenly they're interested in the book. Therefore, they're interested in it, they're more likely to pick it up and try and read it. Mm-hmm. And so that process has garnered us a lot of attention, and we're now about to relaunch our next program, where we're really going to be honing in on per semester classes, where we bring this program to different schools.
My wife and I have met a lot of celebrities over the years, and some of them are really nice, down-to-earth people, and then there's been those that have kind of been, I'm too good to talk to you, that kind of thing, and they don't seem to get involved in this kind of stuff. And then we meet people like you that have given back and it's just an inspiration to all of us. So we want to thank you for that.
You know, the interesting thing is that when I first started, and I think this happens to a lot of people, whether they're celebrities or not, is that you start off going, well, I want one person, what can I do being one person? And there's a lot you do by being one person, because what you do is you inspire other people by your actions. Mm-hmm. And I've seen it so many times, people that say, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know about this organization, I'll just go and help, and then I just do my 1 day and I'm done. And they go there and suddenly their eyes are opened either to the issue or the idea of giving back, but they now want to do more of it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what happens. You get drawn into doing it because it affects you so much spiritually that you get as much benefit from it as you do the people that you're helping, you're trying to help.
For sure. One of our listeners, Darren, he's a pretty dedicated listener. He wanted to send you a question, and he wanted to know if there was an actor or actress that you ever wanted to work with that you haven't got to yet.
There's loads of them. I think you work with all the actors. I mean, obviously, the Pacinos, the De Niros, all those people. The person I would always dream of working with would be Meryl Streep, because I think she is an anomaly even to the acting profession. She is so amazing in every role that she does. It's just so natural for her to play. And I think that's what you forget, is that actors are role players. And she does it so well. So that would be one person I think I'd love to work with. Even just stand and watch her work would be fantastic.
Do you understand that you have a school, a martial arts?
I have kind of. I have the sword experience where it started 3 years ago, just over 3.5 years ago, where we took people on to different places like wineries and castles and conventions, etc., and showed them the choreography from different sword fights from different shows that you've seen on TV. During the first 2 years, I kind of realized, 2.5 years or so, I realized how many things people were doing, or the issues people had, were very similar. So we took it to the academy level, which is breaking up what we do and honing specifically on certain things. So the academy really runs a gamut of like 3 classes at a time. We started them in Los Angeles and Chicago. We're going to be doing more of those in November, probably. This coming end of October, November time, early December. To basically, because I've realized when you have a sword in your hand, people do it as a bucket list. People go, oh, I've always wanted to do that. It's kind of in everybody's makeup anyway, but it's not just about doing the sword. It's about giving you so many different things. It gives you respect, because you have to respect the person next to you, in front of you. It allows you a way to communicate. How do you communicate the moves you've got to do so that you can do them safely? It creates a team by putting the whole team together. So there's so many benefits that people have gotten from doing it, and that's why I started the academy, the Sword Experience Academy, because we deal with just fitness, or just technique, or just performance, where you can take all 3 different classes in a day. So that basically what you're doing is you're working on what you need to work on. But the fitness portion of it, a lot of people that can't move very well, they come and do a non-impact thing like the sword experience, and they get inspiration to start losing weight or going back to the gym or doing different things. So that to me is what my goal is to help people in that nature, but also because I also have, I partner with a lot of different professionals from different areas, and the idea is to spread the interest of sword work and what it means into people that may have thought about doing it but might not be able to. Now, I can't be in Houston or Dallas or New York or whatever all the time, so the idea is when I bring these people in, if they're motivated to go to the next level and start doing something for fun or more serious, they now have a teacher there in that city that now can teach them that style. Because to me, sword work is all about angulations. I mean, if I'm going to cut as an X, I can do it with katana, I can do it with a broadsword, I can do it with an epee, I can do it with a saber, it doesn't matter. That cut is still going to be the same. So I teach people the basic cuts, how to do them, how to put them together, what the foot movements are. There's a lot of different things. So we incorporate that, and then obviously we now have our retreats, which are either 2 or 5 day retreats that we have try and have now once every 6 months or a year, so that you spend a lot more time developing that. You now develop friendships and families, and it's an interesting how it's kind of developed into something different, because now it's not just showing the sword stuff. It's now I now do like little mini movies. I'll do a story behind it. I'm going to Boston next week, in about a week and a half, and I'm doing a reprieve of Dante and Arrow. So the story is he's building his revenge type of thing. So, and he's training everybody so everybody gets little parts to play type thing. So
that's cool.
They're put together like little stories. So you watch a little story and you watch the sword work, and you might get interested in it and might think it's really cool to do, and so it's a process. So yeah,
I want to go.
So that's my school.
Do something like that.
Yeah.
So Darren wants to know if you have a favorite sword.
I do like the. I do like the katana, obviously, because I understand it. Although it's not the strongest sword to utilize. I also like the bucket hilt. What's it called? Not a saber. Claymore's too big. It's a bucket hilt. That's squishes. I like that because it's a double-sided weapon. I also like butterfly knives, which are small swords.
Yes.
About the length of your arm, elbow, from elbow to hand type of distance, because you use them both together. So I've kind of like them different reasons.
I prefer the red lightsaber myself.
Do you make the sound effects and go with it?
Yes, he does.
Of course. That's why I love having grandkids.
I was going to say mine's rapier and mangosh, so with that combo. But,
rapier and what?
With the mangosh.
You mean left-handed?
Do what?
La mangosh means left hand, you know that, right?
Oh, no, I did not. I'm learning every day.
It's spelled Mangauche, correct?
Yeah.
Mangosh, that means the left hand. So you probably in the right hand you've got a saber, and then not a sword, probably be a saber, and in the left is like a shorter weapon, correct?
Yes, like a longer dagger.
Correct. Yeah. We did that. They did that one in the episode Duende. Very hard to do. Coordination is different than using one sword, but I do agree. So it's good to use both hands.
All right.
And understand, do you have an app that they can go to for the sword experience?
Yeah, you can. There is a sword experience app. I don't know if we actually have it currently in operation, but you can always get a swordxp.com is very simple for us. So you can find it. You can find them on. We're on all social media channels, etc. So we're on YouTube. You can see we've got over 50, 60 videos on YouTube now of all the different events that we've done. We've done corporate events. We've done charity events. We've done, so it's all a variety of different things on there.
Yeah, because I'll follow y'all on Instagram, and by the way, I did see you clearing out your stuff. Yeah.
Tons of pictures. We're going to be offering a lot of those soon, because there's a lot of stuff there that I have. I think I could share with people that might be interested in it.
Well, it'd be good to like auction off for your charity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'll be the other thing we're doing. We got International Peace Days coming up as well in September. So we're going to be doing a drive for that as well.
So, what formats are you on for your podcast?
We're on iTunes, Stitcher. We're on PCM Radio, obviously on our site. I think those we're on a lot of platforms. Actually, you can probably find us if you just go to PCM Radio.
Okay, and then on Instagram, you're at hashtag SwordXP.
Yeah, hashtag SwordXP, or you can find me at Adrian Paul Official. We post different things on those. Yeah, pretty much, and then obviously hashtag the Peace Fund. So those are the formats that we're actually on.
Well, anybody that's listening, help them out and donate something to their charity, because I believe in it and I think it's a great thing, and we appreciate you doing stuff like that. As far as us, you can catch us on Facebook at Pitt Paranormal Investigators, and also on Instagram at into_the_P.I.T.T. Yeah, I know it's a lot. And same thing on Twitter. We're at Pitt Paranormal_. And we'd love to thank Adrian for taking time out of his busy day to be on our little show here, and it's been such an honor.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you. I hope you have happy hunting.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Listen to the Vibes. You can catch us on Buzzsprout or wherever you listen to your favourite podcasts, and on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook.